The Power Hour is live. KFAN.com/watch where you can find it. And check it out all thanks to Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed.
Hi, everybody. There we are. Look at us.
Hey.
Would you just look at us? Here we are. It's the best we can do. 8:05. It's the first day of October, for God's sakes. What do you think of that?
What is September? Do we have one drop of rain in September?
Very little.
No.
Like the driest
did.
one.
Yep, driest and warmest.
How about that?
So dry.
Yeah.
Okay, button bar.
Wait, is this about beady eyes?
This is about Corey Cove, yeah.
Yeah.
It's called The Depths of the Cove.
Beady eyes.
Another one of those AI songs from Patrick Goldenrod. He named the band The Rosen, which I like.
I'm convinced Corey is more fascinated with me than you are when I'm not here. He talks about me
Yeah, he does.
like it's the weirdest.
We all do.
call it a crush.
I know you all do, which is fine. I like the button bar stuff, but he's just weird about it.
No,
He's obsessive.
He's just, that's a
little
good
bit.
word.
Yeah, that's what he is.
He's just the strangest things.
Yeah.
I go, wait, what?
Yeah.
What reference is this?
Yeah.
How does your brain work?
Oh, just barely.
yeah.
He's a smart guy.
He is.
Yeah,
He
he's a
is.
very smart guy.
Yeah. But he's like a doggy with a bone.
Oh, yeah.
He gets it in his mouth. He can't leave it alone.
Yep.
That rhymed.
I like it.
Thank you. Hi, Mars.
Hi. Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
What? We started with M. There's a meat sauce.
What a mess.
Yep.
I know.
Yes, I am.
It's time for Fan 5, brought to you by Builders and Remodelers.
Thank you, Builders and Remodelers. Don't forget Jonathan Greenard, bottom of this hour. And by the way, that's right. If I may, game 2 tonight. Lynx. They lost game 1. Here's Cheryl Reeve.
The further you go in the playoffs, right, the harder it gets. The team you're playing against is obviously here for a reason because they're really good. We're here because we're really good. And now it's two teams just going back and forth. You're not going to get anything easy. And then it's just about players, finding a way to make a play. That's a place that we've got to make sure that we excel in.
Okay.
Oh, that was it? Was that it?
Should I take it from here? I don't.
I don't need to tell
I
you.
don't know
to do
what
your
more
job.
Hawk can do. Yeah.
What do they need to do
Connecticut
tonight,
is
Marge?
a very good basketball team, and we have now played the Sun 4 times total this year, and we've lost 3 of those games. We went 2-1 in the regular season, and then obviously lost game 1 in the playoffs. And all have been close games, but this Connecticut defense is equal to Minnesota's defense. So when you talk about being able to rely on that or like how hard it is to go up against an elite defense, both teams are dealing with that. And the fourth quarter, I think, was the separator in this game, and the Lynx just could not hit a shot. They had 8 points in the fourth quarter.
Ouch.
Connecticut only had 16. I mean, the second half, our defense held Connecticut to 15 points in the third quarter, 16 points in the fourth quarter. That is good enough to win, and that is good enough to win a playoff game. But when your offense only scores 8 in the fourth quarter, that ain't going to do it. But Marina Mabry is also not going to go 6 of 11 from 3 very often, and Courtney Williams, for us, is not going to go 3 of 12 overall very often. But I think Connecticut said, look, Nafisa Collier's not scoring 40 points against us. And they focused on her, and they held her significantly below that. So we got to figure something out. And we'll do that tonight. The Lynx did not lose consecutive games at home all season.
And this is a 3 out of 5 series, correct?
Yes, it is.
So
It's 1-0.
1-0, and they move to Connecticut after.
Yes, it'll be 1-1, and then we'll go to Connecticut for games 3 and 4.
Okay.
We'll come back here and win in 5.
I like the confidence.
Hell yeah, Marnes.
Let's go.
That'd be fun.
Marnes,
Yes.
your thoughts on the proposed Karl Anthony Towns trade?
It's complicated. Even my thoughts, I was shocked. Jim Peterson texted me, and we were at Grady's football game, Chaska High School homecoming game. And so I wasn't around my phone, wasn't looking at my phone. And after the game, I pulled my phone out and I was like, oh my God. And Matt's like, what happened? What happened?
Yeah.
She got news.
He thought a family member passed.
Who's Matt?
That is my.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I should have led with that. My husband Matt said, "What happened? Did a family member pass away?" I said, "Kind of." No,
Rosie.
So it's complicated with Carl because I feel like he has been good to great on this team, at times on the basketball court, but always off the basketball court. We don't read about another DUI for Carl or this trouble with the law, or he's a good person. He's a good human being. He doesn't cause issues. And sometimes with professional athletes, that's a bonus. And you don't often think about that until you have the one that causes all the problems. And you're like, oh my God, we have to get rid of this. So that is one section of my trying to just sort out all the details of this Carl trade. The other is the basketball part, obviously. And I feel like he may have reached his ceiling with the Wolves and can only do so much with this group. So I'm okay with the trade, assuming Julius Randle can give us a lot. I think Dante DiVincenzo is a pretty good player. Neither one of them is as good as Cat, but combined, plus a first-round draft pick, we're going to be fine. Hawk, I heard you asking the question yesterday, I think it was, assuming we were significantly worse now because of this trade. And I don't think that's the case at all.
Good.
I'm not saying we're better, but I don't think we dropped off a whole lot. And I think personally, for Towns to be playing in New York, he's from Metuchen, New Jersey, which is like 40 minutes away. His dad played in a minor league system of the New York Knicks. Like, this is good for him. It could be good for the Wolves. It might work all the way around. I just wish Carl the best. I know he's quirky, but he's a good human being.
He's a great human.
Yes. When I was going through my breast cancer stuff, Carl sent me flowers with a handwritten card.
Oh, wow.
And I thanked the Wolves PR department the next day when I saw them. They had no idea.
He's
He
A+.
didn't go to them for an address or an information he did it himself. I'm just telling you that as to give you an example of this is a good human being. I realize you separate that from the basketball player, but I think we're going to be okay, and I think he's going to be okay.
Is this the price of success? Because the more success he had, obviously, the more the position he got into to cash in. And we know what his salary is about to be. And the Wolves have other players, including Naz Reid, et cetera, that they want to keep under contract. So Tim Connolly's looking at it like, well, how are we going to do this and make all this fit? It's not.
Yeah.
It's just not easy to do, and still maintain the level of competitiveness in a very, very competitive Western Conference, which is going to get even tougher this year. So that's part of the problem.
$220 million over 4 years. That's
if you want to keep Naz Reid and Jane McDaniel, whatever, you're not going to do it with Carl's salary at that point. It's just not going to happen.
It's just too much.
Yeah. It's almost impossible with the new CBA.
Right.
I'm just looking forward to when he comes back to town and we can give him a proper
doesn't he play a
goodbye.
We play a preseason game. It's in New York.
It's in New York.
Yeah,
Perfect.
it's on.
We can't do that out there.
Sunday,
Well, the
maybe?
other thing, too, though, is it gives them, Hawk, as we talked about yesterday, it gives them the best bench in the NBA.
Well, that's sweet. Good place to sit.
Yeah.
Don't they use chairs now?
Most of the time.
But
Yes,
it gives
they have
them
padded
the
chairs.
deepest bench in the NBA.
We have the deepest chairs.
Padded chairs.
Padded chairs, which I need because I'm about to break this one off its axis because I'm so fat.
Yeah, DiVincenzo averaged 19 points after the All-Star game.
His name is DiVincenzo.
Dante
No,
DiVincenzo.
his
last name is DiVincenzo. Yeah,
Duvan?
and he's Brian O'Neill's high school teammate.
Divan.
He'll come out shooting. He
Yes,
gets his warm-ups
and
off.
as Dane Moore, who was on with PA, that's an excellent interview PA did yesterday. Having DiVincenzo come off the bench or whatever role they play him in, and now having some of these other guys that they now have brought in, you have perfect people to match up with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, what you needed all during that playoff run in the Western Conference Finals. Now, who's going to guard Joker? I don't know, but if Tim Conley makes a big swing like this, we have to trust him because
he's
it's
got that all
better
planned out.
than doing nothing. I'm not trying to just take shots at the Twins, but it's better than doing nothing.
Well, go ahead, take
and
shots
Rosie,
at the
you
Twins.
follow this. You have been here since the team started in, 88? I'm not ripping you, but like, there was a time
89,
where
90,
they were, six people would show up, Rosie. You and I would go to games on Friday
we'd laugh
nights.
about it.
No one would be there.
Yeah.
And now they're one of the best teams in the NBA. You got to believe in what they're doing.
Well, the timing is perfect with what the NBA is doing league-wide as well. And I think they got a hot product right now straight across the board. And pretty much every city that is engaged in this right now, especially in the Western Conference, has got a reason to go and watch the games. And the Timberwolves have got to take advantage of it and not make it a one-hit wonder, basically getting to the West. And Connolly knows. He's got the blueprint. He did it in Denver, and he's trying to get it done here. And, we'll see how it works out. And I wish Carl, I agree, Marty laid it out perfectly. I wish Carl nothing but the best in New York. He's going to flourish there. He's going to love it there.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And then
the
when he
Knicks
has a
are
bad
super
game,
good now.
Yeah, the Knicks will be fun. But that's this, like Edwards said yesterday, it's a business. They all know that when they sign their big contracts, and sometimes it just doesn't fit. It's not about personalities. It's just about the idea that we have to keep getting better. And how are we going to do that?
And he's the best player on the team. And Tim Conley said yesterday in his press conference, he thinks Ant can be the best player ever.
Ever what?
Ever.
In basketball?
Ever.
Okay.
He did, yes.
He didn't really
yes,
say
he
that.
did. Yeah, he thinks he can be the best.
Over Michael Jordan. Over Larry
but they
Bird.
were comparing him to Michael Jordan 6 months ago.
Okay.
Like, he's that good. He's the best Wolf of all time. He is.
He's going to get there.
He is.
Yes.
He
But
is.
to say the best player ever?
He's 22.
Sports Center was doing pieces on that 6 months ago that he's better, that he is the next Michael Jordan.
Actually, I think he just turned 23.
I think he'll be the first Anthony Edwards. I wouldn't want to start talking about the next Michael Jordan.
Yeah, see, Hawk's cheering about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Hawk said it too. Hawk has a blog about it.
And basketball players, are you at your peak? What would you say, like 28?
Yeah,
something like
How old
that.
is
He turned 23 in August. So,
Right.
Yeah.
2 months ago, less than 2 months ago,
His
he
fifth
turned
year
23.
Yeah.
So if he's got, let's say, a good 5 years until his peak.
And the best thing that happened to him is playing with that Olympic team because he saw how hard those guys practice and play. So
Got to get his buddy Kevin Durant. That's what he wants.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Oh, is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I
Well,
mean,
he talked about
this
him
gives
yesterday.
them flexibility. That's another thing this trade does. Because the Marty was
Yes,
saying,
if you're tied up.
how big is this
Yeah.
contract with Cat? It's what?
220 over 4 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it gets to what? Like
It's
60?
a lot of money.
Yeah, the
million?
individual, it
Yeah.
goes like 58 to 63
Yeah.
per year.
Yeah.
I mean, those are
That's a lot.
massive numbers, but that's what those Supermax contracts look like.
Yep.
Speaking of Supermax,
Hey,
come on now.
There he
Tell me,
is.
what are they going to do? What are they going to do with all this?
I think it could. There's a chance that it could work really well, man. I mean, Dante DiVincenzo, like I said, he averaged 19 points after the All-Star break last year for the New York Knicks. He set the single season franchise record in three-pointers made. And then we know, like, the Knicks ain't a new organization. They've been around forever. So you break a New York Knicks records, that's a pretty impressive feat, man. And that he was integral to their success. I mean, they wouldn't have gotten as far as they did without him, and unfortunately they ran into some injuries. But the thing I'm not worried about Dante DiVincenzo blending in with the team at all. It's just there's gonna be some growing pains, I think, with Julius Randle, especially when you have him out there on the floor with Rudy Gobert at the same time. Defenses are gonna look at that and say, well, we're gonna just send like 3 guys, 2-3 guys at Anthony Edwards, and everybody's gonna have to step up. I mean, and we have no reason to believe that they're not. Anthony Edwards has gotten better in every single statistical category every single year since he came into the league. I mean, that's what the guy does, is just constantly improve. We saw Jaden McDaniels kind of become a little bit more consistent as a scorer in the playoffs last year. We already know what Naz Reid is capable of and how he filled in Karl Anthony Towns' shoes when he was out towards the end of the season. So everybody's just going to need to step up more, and I think it's key that Anthony Edwards, we saw it in the Olympics, like Saucy was talking about too. His playmaking ability is what really needs to take the leap. He can score on anybody, but he's going to really have to put in an effort to make sure that everybody's gelling, that the spacing is correct, because the spacing is going to be totally different without Karl Anthony Towns on the floor. So Anthony Edwards is going to have to take a step up as a playmaker, and I think having Dillingham come in here as a rookie is going to help as well, because we just have more playmakers. We have more guys that can go out and get buckets, like Saucy was saying. We got Joe Ingles now. He's a 3-point assassin.
We got Dillingham.
They got Dillingham, and they got Terrence Shannon Jr. He was tearing it up in the summer league. So we got guys that can go out there and get a bucket. We already know that defense is the calling card, so the defense is going to be there. We got Rudy. We got Jaden. Who Jaden told me yesterday his personal goal is to be Defensive Player of the Year, first team all defense. So
where's their first game at?
It's at it's at LA. Yeah.
It's a Lakers. No, it's October
22nd. And it's on TNT.
Are you going to be there, Barnes?
No, we don't even get to broadcast the first game of the season.
Is anybody here going?
It's on TNT.
I'm going.
You're going?
Well, I'm going to see the Vikings. The Vikings play the Rams that week as well, so I'm going to go. It's an
maybe I can go too.
Vikings. So I get an opportunity to go see my son out there in L.A. and go hang out with a couple friends and get tickets for the opening game against LeBron and Bronny. So that'll be fun.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Can't wait. Hey, listen, speaking of can't wait, Jonathan Greenard joins the Power Trip in the next segment. Minnesota Vikings superstar Jonathan Greenard. Right after this and much more. Power Trip Morning Show on the Fan. Thanks for tuning in. We love you. This is, by the way, the further adjustments and burnout effigy.
Get ready, Minneapolis. AWOL Nation are set to hit the stage at the iconic First Avenue on April 28th. Don't miss your chance to see their electrifying performance live with hits like Sail, Not Your Fault, and Hollow Moon. Tickets are on sale now. Get the full details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Thank you.
No. These are directional.
What?
Nothing. Sometimes we have conversations off air. All of a sudden, someone in this room starts doing a commercial without any prior knowledge. Okay. Anyway.
This is Frobic and Farewell.
Jeez. Are you Rosie?
Oh. Welcome back. Jonathan Greenard here in about 10 minutes or so. Talk to him about all
He's
things
A+.
going on. He's A+. He's a bad man. Marnie's here. Rosen's here.
Hey, Rose.
Hi.
Quickly before we get into our next bit, Pete Rose death. Your thoughts?
Complicated, man. I mean, it's my feelings. Everyone associates it saying, "Well, should he not be in the Hall of Fame?" And I think that had he come forward right away and said, "Yeah, I've been in baseball," I think the chances would have increased greatly. But he denied it. But having said that, I still feel there's a lot of, how can I say this, unscrupulous people in charge of a lot of things and made a lot of big mistakes. And I look at him more than the steroid era. Pete Rose had over, the all-time hit leader. I don't think that putting his bust in Cooperstown really affects people. I mean, he's tarnishing the game. I think the time had come and gone that he paid his dues and deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. And now, sadly, he'll never live to see that day. And I mean, it was weird because I saw a picture of him taken the day before, with a lot of his guys from the Cincinnati Reds, the Big Red Machine. But watched the Netflix special on him, and again, he had a complicated life, and that's not unusual. But I saw him get the first hit at the Metrodome. He got it was an exhibition game against the Phils, and the Twins were playing them on a wintry night, and Pete Rose laced a double or something to left, and it's like that was the first hit ever. There's a trivia question for you. The first hit ever in the Metrodome. It was an exhibition game, but he got it. Watched him play in all-star games. He was Charlie Hustle. And I think that, I think people now, especially whole different generations, going to Cooperstown to see Pete Rose, proper place, I think, was there. You can argue the Bonds, the McGuires, the Sosas, the guys that, the steroid era in particular that baseball encouraged. But Pete Rose, I think, bet on his team. I mean, and made other bets, but I don't think there was ever a situation where people thought he was affecting the outcome of the games. But I don't know.
There wasn't?
I don't know.
I think
there were a couple times in the piece. The way he handled a relief pitcher or two.
I think that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I softened my position about it over the years. I just think as a player, he earned his place and then some. So, again, it doesn't matter. Everyone's got their own personal opinion about it, but it doesn't matter now. The man has passed, and other than his family and how they feel about it, I don't think it's ever going to really change. If it hasn't changed by now, why would it? Why would it now? It's like, Pete Rose passed away. Let's put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I don't think that
was Hawks' team, man.
Yep.
I mean, that was like when we grew up with like Griffey Jr. and all them. Like that was the era of baseball. That was Hawks squad, the Big Red Machine.
Yeah, they were something.
I loved them. I did.
Yeah, how can you not? They were bigger than life figures in Cincinnati.
Yep.
It's for sure.
4,000 hits. He played. Let me see. Hold on. I got here my notes. He played 24 seasons.
Yeah.
He played in the most games. He's a 17-time All-Star.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was everywhere, right, Hawk? Like he had like cereal and all types of endorsement, like the action figures. Like he was everything to everyone in the country. I mean, obviously to you guys because of the location, but he was like the guy in baseball during that time, right?
It was also the way he played. It was so charismatic.
Charlie Hustle.
It was you imitated him on the playground. It was
The crouch at home plate.
Yeah. He
There was
barreled
so
through a guy
much
in an
life
All-Star
in his
game.
game.
Yeah, Ray Fosse injured him in an All-Star game when head first
The dancer.
hit home plate. Yeah, the dancer. Helmet flying off his head, rounding first base. Just that's why they called him Charlie Hustle.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too bad. It's sad that it ended up. His life was sad in a lot of ways, but kind of make your own bed too.
Yep. He was both sides of the bat, man.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I'm watching some highlights of him right now, and I swear to God, I'm 9 years old again.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, one of the breakdowns that went viral yesterday is I think he was on like Fox playoff coverage, and he was talking to Frank Thomas and A-Rod about like what happens when you get in a slump. And he said, don't change anything. That's what got you into the big league. And then he explained how like he moved up in the box, moved back in the box, and it was brilliant. It was a brilliant breakdown. He may have bet on games, but you still don't get to that many hits.
Well, he was a
betting
manager.
on it or not.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
he belongs in the Hall of Fame. 4,000 hits gets you into the Hall of Fame.
If you want a basis,
OJ's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well,
I mean, he is.
Yeah, he is.
He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
He is, yeah. They put him in. Yeah, because he was in Naked Gun.
I heard Bonus when he was here. I heard this argument. You just do not want to accept the bonus was saying yes, all of his numbers put him in the Hall of Fame. The only part is that when you're gambling on your own team,
Right.
you're now affecting the integrity of the game. And as hideous as what OJ did, hideous. It didn't affect the integrity.
But I look
of
at Pete Rose, what he did as a baseball player.
Correct.
As a player, not a manager.
Yeah.
And you can judge him differently. I don't think when he was playing, I mean, maybe he was making best.
But it's still the game of baseball, right? And yes, I'm totally on the fence about it, but I thought Bonus made a good point that every argument you make,
that's
which
why
you're
he's not in.
correct,
Yeah.
you're correct, Rosie, and you are correct,
Thank you.
Sauce, as well.
Thanks, Mark.
And then comes
wanna
the
be
trump
correct,
card.
too.
Yeah, Hawks is
And
correct.
then
you're
comes
not.
the trump card where he says, but
Bless you.
because you bet on the game in which you had all the hits
But-
and you were the best player,
But you bet on it.
you brought in the integrity of the game and you threatened to bring the whole thing down. That's how Bonus phrased it. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of a good point.
But you bet on it after your accomplishment.
Correct.
That's my point.
He earned his way
He
to
earned his
Cooperstown
way
as
to
a baseball
Cooperstown
player.
as
But
a
he's
player.
still-
And you could have an asterisk on his. When you say, you could actually put.
I do.
Do we know that he did not bet on games at all while he played?
I do not know that.
I don't think it was.
But it's great for you to die on that hill.
Right.
Well,
but you still
there are
have to
a lot
hit the
of-
baseball.
Let me Google it.
Yeah, there are a lot of
It's the toughest
unscrupulous.
thing to do in
it's
sports.
no question his accomplishments.
People did a lot of heinous
No
things that are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and in other walks of life.
Because when it
that
gets
they
brought
get
up-
themselves in a position of power, and we're talking about a ceremonial thing, really. We're not talking about actual power that you have, and people, the scumbags that are the CEOs or whatever they've done, and affecting people to this day.
Yeah.
You're not punishing them.
I mean, just this year, that scumbag Joe Mauer got in. How the hell?
Yeah, how did he get in? He once took someone else's glass of milk.
Wow.
by accident.
Is that real?
He
Are you
blew out of a
reporting
gallon.
Are you reporting that, Rosie?
He got a chemist endorsement to pay him back.
There is an article
Talk about an all-time human.
at ESPN. It was published in 2015, so this is pretty old. New documents at that time obtained by Outside the Lines indicate Pete Rose bet extensively on baseball and on the Cincinnati Reds as he racked up the last hits of a record-smashing career in 1986. The documents go beyond the evidence presented in the report that led to Rose banishment.
Well, he was betting on the Cincinnati Reds. That's what they said, right? Not against them.
Well, bet on baseball and on the Reds. I mean, if you put a bet on the Reds, you could still bet on them to lose, right?
Well, that's true. That's true.
I'm just saying this article says he always denied that he bet while he played, and then there were documents indicating otherwise.
I'm be shocked if he didn't. You're right, but again, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think he paid his. I mean, he had his prison term, so to speak, and I still think as a baseball player deserved to be in there after all these years. That's all. In the later stages of his life, and so I think the fans would have loved it. I think people would have appreciated it, and some people, detractors, would say he still doesn't belong in there. Well, you can make that argument till.
As we've talked about before, and Corey has said this multiple times, at one point he was sitting at the Field of Dreams store in the MGM Grand signing autographs for cash.
Yeah.
Like, that's the hits.
For Johnny Cash?
Yeah, that's the hits legend. When he would answer the phone, he would say Hit King. And he's signing autographs.
He
he
did
did
it
everywhere.
He
worked signed. They showed it under that documentary. He'd be in Vegas. He'd be everywhere. In Cooperstown, he'd go out there. It's just,
there you go.
Like I said, that's the sad part of his life.
For sure, it certainly is. It's too bad because my gosh, talk about a fall from grace.
Yep.
And there you go. But I do hear our guest is on the hotline right now. So.
Oh, terrific.
You want to go ahead and punch him up for me over there, please?
Of course.
They are 4-0, and one of their defensive leaders is on the phone right now. Jonathan Greenard of the Minnesota Vikings is on the phone, and what a fun game. What a strange game. What's going on? Oh, yeah, I got it. Thank you very much, Maxo. What a fun game. What a strange game. For so many Vikings fans, there was a lot of stress there on the field. How did it feel to be a part of such an up-and-down game that finally ended up going the right way, Jonathan Greenard?
Yeah, feels good we got a dub, but obviously, we definitely came, not just us, but everybody here. But definitely knew it was going to be a battle. Knew it was going to be a hostile environment. We didn't want to give them any momentum, and we kind of did a little bit, and that's what made the game more like interesting from a fan's perspective. But we definitely know we had to clean some stuff up, but it was definitely a very, very hard-fought game.
Hey, Jonathan, when it got to the point where you guys had that 28-0 lead, how much fun is it as a defensive player knowing that they are going to drop back and pass almost every play?
It's great. It's great and it's good and bad because you know that you want to pin your ears back, obviously, to go hunt the quarterback, and there are going to be opportunities for that. But most times you're seeing that, you're knowing that, hey, they're going to start to try to get this quarterback in some sort of a rhythm, whether it's a short, quick throws or screens to do that. So they do a lot of annoying stuff. But when we do get the opportunity, oh man, we're definitely licking our chops because we know what time it is.
What was Brian Flores' reaction as you guys look at game film when you have a situation like that? Lots to work on still. No feeling of satisfaction because you got a lot of work to do getting ready for the Jets in London this week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We definitely, and I can speak for myself, and I know a couple other guys as well. Well, honestly, collectively, we're treating this like a loss. Honestly, I mean, we literally were not happy about how we won this past game. I mean, we left so many plays out there. We messed up so many times on our end. Just a lot of self-inflicted stuff. But I think that's one of the good things I noticed about this team is that, even when we win really big or like this past game, we won pretty close where it shouldn't have been because, the score isn't indicative of what really went down. But we're really just going back to the drawing board and, looking ourselves in the mirror and understanding, hey, look, what type of team do we want to be? Mm-hmm. We want to be a team that's, standing there at the final dance. We got to make sure that these things don't happen. A lot of people are trying to ask, how do we go about this, being 4-0, or how do you deal with adversity when you're always up against opponents? And I'm like, well, I feel like we shouldn't have to be playing from behind or be in a situation where we have to be down 14 or most of the scores just to show us that we're a good team. I mean, if we handle our business in the front end and don't mess our what we had that was pretty good going up, I think that we could have put an even more better score out there. I mean, I think that score should have. They honestly, in my opinion, shouldn't have scored. We probably would have kept going down the road and continue to score on our offense. So who knows how the score would have been if we handled our stuff. But I think like I said earlier, that's the beauty of it, knowing that we have a pretty good team because, like I said, no one's satisfied about how we won it off.
Hey, Nardog, I was going to ask you about the two halves and which one sticks with you more, the success of the first half or the struggles of the second half. But I'm guessing your answer is the second half based on the way you answered this last question. So in a game where you have two starkly different halves, how do you really absorb and break down and compartmentalize all that happened when you were so different in the two? And is there a one that you sort of have to spend more time on, the first half versus the second half?
Well, I think when we all knew the most point, Speedy was back there, but like I said, we all knew Speedy hasn't taken a punt return in who knows how long. I think BP Powell had went down. He took the big hit. So a lot of people kind of asking questions in that aspect. So that was a hell of a punt, honestly. That kid booted the ball to the freaking moon. So facing the sun, I get it. There's a lot of controversial stuff there, but we stand behind Speedy regardless. But you can kind of say that moment there was kind of a pivotal point that gave the momentum because, they didn't have any points at all. They weren't going to get any points at all going into that half. But you give them 7 and it goes 28-7, it kind of gives them some sort of light, and in the second half, we just had to go back to the drawing board and understand, listen, teams are going to come back to the plays that they got on us. Green Bay had a lot of chunk plays, and that's what kind of showed a lot on film and the stat sheet because, it looks like they may have been throwing on us all day. And most of these the yardage came from big chunks where guys are just running open where we had a mental communication in the breakdown, communication breakdown in the coverage. And, hats off to them. I mean, like I said, they're still a great team over there as well because we still have that target on our back. We're in their home field and we're up 28-7. They're doing whatever it takes at this point. So they're drawing up schemes, drawing up plays to try to exploit us because they've had time. We've been on the field multiple times at this point, so they have pretty much a clear snapshot of what we're trying to do a little bit while still trying to guess on the fly. But we definitely want to clear all of that up because we know. When we get to later in these games against better opponents, just because it was, very close that time, we had a couple plays the wrong way at the end, so we kind of put it away. Might not always be the case for that. So for us to prepare and make sure that we clean up everything that we gave up from huge chunks plays, knowing that teams are going to come back to that, that's going to be a huge key for us moving forward so we can pretty much keep that record and get to where we want to go at the end of the year.
Hey, what was it like going back there and playing with Aaron Jones, knowing how much the other team and fans love him?
Yeah, we truly understand. I truly understand it now just because, I've always watched Aaron since he's gotten in the league. Been one of my favorite backs since I've gotten in the league. And to see the impact he had on not just, the support staff from Green Bay, but like I said, the fans, I literally was expecting people to just be like, just straight bashing them, calling them names, this and that. I'm pretty sure they probably were that I didn't hear. But for what I've seen, man, it was amazing to see the fans still embrace him. The coaching staff over there still embrace him, his former teammates and stuff like that. Just the amount of respect that he has. I knew it was going to be a great game for him just because he was going to run with a vengeance, like he always does anyways. But I knew it meant a lot more to him this game as well, coming back home to his, where he's been for his whole career, honestly. So it was a great sight to see, but we definitely knew going into that game that he was going to be able to put some numbers up and help us get a victory because we all know what he's capable of. And we love AJ here, so we truly understand now why he was such a great, not just a player, but a great teammate, great friend for that organization. So glad to have him here, though, because I'm watching him run against those boys. I'm like, listen, he's kicking into another gear that I haven't even seen there at camp. So I'm glad I'm on the other side of that instead of playing against him.
Yeah, we're lucky to have him, no doubt. We're lucky to have Jonathan Greenard as well. This is the Vikings Report on KFAN, brought to you by our friends at Hy-Vee. Getting ready to go to London. As a player, do you like going there, or is this just an added aggravation to what is already a stressful NFL season?
It's a little bit of both. I got my wife, my sister. They'll be out there as well, coming out. So that that'll be something. Obviously, after the football aspect is taken care of for that day, I'll be able to go enjoy the city a little bit with those with my family. But yeah, it's kind of another place a game that could have been played here. I believe it is a home game, so that's one less home game we had at the bank. So I know teams are definitely excited. I know the Jets are definitely got to be excited about that. But yeah, I mean it's cool. I mean I definitely like the switch up aspect to it, I guess. But yeah, I definitely had no problem playing this game in the States for sure.
We're only 4 games into the season, but the Vikings are the only unbeaten team in the NFC. How does KOC handle kind of the mindset of this football team, knowing there's a long ways to go, and kind of keeping you guys on just focused on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I think the great thing about it around the locker room, from what I see, is that we kind of already know. We already understand that, hey, we're 4-0, so it's something, you can celebrate about. It's something that we should be proud of. We've beaten some pretty good teams. However, we are not satisfied in that locker room. I mean, we're still having that underdog mentality. I'm pretty sure every game we've gone into this year so far, we've been the underdog, and I think we love that. We love having that chip on our shoulder. We love being that underdog because there's only one place you can go is up. I mean, if you're rated too high, I mean, people, they have all these things to say. We try not to dig into that stuff because we understand what we have within that locker room. But to know we have and continue to believe that we can actually be who we want to be is what's being preached from KO. I mean, he was hard on us after this past game. I mean, he knew that there's so much more in the tank that we could get to. When we're playing, obviously the scores are showing up pretty good, but we know within ourselves and just watching the film, like literally watching the film, that there's another level that we all can take to. And I think that is where we're going to challenge ourselves moving forward, no matter who we play, no matter what scheme that we face. As long as we continue to just do our job and play our style of ball, clean up a little small things, take it on ourselves to hold each other accountable and hold ourselves to a higher standard. That's what we're chasing after. I mean, we all can see that on a film perspective, outside, even just from hearing from KO and other players around the league and this and that of what we could possibly do. But it doesn't matter, like I said, until we go out there and continue to put that on tape. And I think that's where you're going to see moving forward.
Jonathan, we'll let you go, but before I do, any part of you sad that you completely missed the Big Cat era of the Timberwolves? You got here too late to see it happen.
Man. I'm very sad. However, I know they're cooking up some great over there. We're going to see how the adjustment goes. But man, he was a great player. Of course, he's definitely still going to do amazing things in the league. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the new team's going to look like. I think we got Randall, DiVincenzo as well. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to see what the Wolves are going to do for sure.
Thanks very much. It's always great to talk to you. We'll see you in London. Thank you now.
Bye. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank y'all. Have a good one.
There he goes. Brought to you by our friends at Mesh, Besher, and Spence. That was Jonathan Greenard on KFAN.
Yeah, a lot of players with BL have family members with them, which is unusual for any road trip, but be able to go to London as the home team. And so
yeah,
they'll have a little free time.
Having the bye right after is going to be interesting, too, because I think it'll be a large percentage. Probably,
right.
Not a large, but you get my point. We'll stay afterwards and hang around.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Absolutely. That's what I'm doing. For sure. You have to.
I'm not. They're kicking me right out of there.
Yeah, he has to leave immediately.
Right.
Well, there's probably a lot of reasons for that.
He's smuggling drugs.
You have a 72-hour window that you have to be allowed in the country.
Certain parts of England I'm not allowed in.
Yeah.
But I like that guy, man. That guy's
he's
great.
What an addition. Really not just, on the team, but he's a terrific guest every single week.
He's got a hell of a motor.
Boy, does he ever.
He really does.
That was quite a pickup by Kwesi.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm going to read you guys a text, if I could,
Sure.
and change directions quick. It's about the Pete Rose stuff. So I got a text from a friend of mine who played in the big leagues for 10 years, mid-90s, mid-2000s.
Steve Lombardozzi? Barry Bonds?
Brad Radke.
Kirby Puckett.
Not a Twins player. So
Jackie Robinson.
It's just interesting. Do with it what you will. But two things. Pete Rose accepted a lifetime ban from baseball, knowing that would make him ineligible to be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
It was Pete Rose's choice, which should maybe tell people how serious the situation was or how guilty he was. I don't know. Second, at the time Pete Rose was playing, the only rule in baseball that would get you in serious trouble. I mean, outside of like murder and stuff like that,
of course,
was betting on baseball. Everyone knew it. And this is from a player. Everyone knew it. And everyone knew the repercussions. Yet Pete Rose still did it, then lied about it.
Right.
And then accepted the lifetime ban. So all the records still stand. He is a 17-time All-Star. He's the hits leader. He's all the thing that Sauce said. Still considered one of the best of all time. But apparently the Hall of Fame can't even allow him to be voted in because he is banned for life from the game, which is a penalty that he accepted himself. Because I think that helped him avoid maybe legal prosecution as well.
Probably.
Really?
So it's not that simple. I don't know. That's why I said I think.
Well, the contradiction that I have with Major League Baseball, not so much about Pete, I mean, that explains it quite well. The steroid era, where they were hurting after the strike in '94.
You are correct.
They were encouraging, and they didn't care. They looked the other way when Bonds and Sosa, McGuire and Sosa were going at it. They knew damn well what was going on. And they weren't there to help the players. They weren't there they were there to fill the stands again. So baseball put its head in the sand over that entire episode, and it cost, I mean, again, it's self-inflicted. For Barry Bonds was a Hall of Fame player before he started taking steroids.
Correct.
He was one of the best players I've ever seen.
Yep.
And he'll never get in the Hall of Fame. And I'm not saying he doesn't, again, responsibility, but baseball was responsible for that as well. And they need.
Do you think he'll never get in?
I don't know. I'm not saying ever, but I think it's a lot harder. He doesn't even. They don't move the needle at all.
Do you have a vote?
No, I do not, because I'm not part of the Baseball Writers Association.
I've wondered if that one might come around, if people might change their mind. Not that I think it's right.
No, I know.
I wonder if that.
Do we ever see the
change.
I don't think it
moving
matters
that
now.
up, though? I mean, getting closer to, I don't see McGuire or Bonds in particular, who was the best player maybe of his generation. I don't think the votes are ever getting up to the point going, God, he's just so close. Yeah. Then you get new blood coming in every year and new guys that are going to be in there. And
you don't think it matters, Hawk, just in that
he's not here? I mean, so part of going into the Hall of Fame is the honor of going into the Hall of Fame, right? But I hear where you come from. I don't know. They're all good arguments. I was listening I got into it. One of those things where I get hooked on something for a while, so I listen to a bunch of 30 for 30 podcasts.
Oh, it's the best.
It's just the best. And,
the Ricky Henderson one.
The Ricky Henderson one's great, and they did a long one on what's the dude's name? Jose Canseco.
Oh yeah,
Oh my Lord,
that was nuts, man.
I mean, he was shooting people up left and right, and and then he told on everybody.
He couldn't wait to snitch
he couldn't wait, man.
And the other part of it, and we can have a whole discussion about this sometime, and how sports, not just baseball, have all embraced gambling.
Yeah.
It's part of what they are. You put on whatever game is on, they give you live odds during the game, during the broadcast.
Yeah.
And, this is where we're at in society right now, where, it used to be that who thought Vegas would ever have a sports team? They weren't allowed to because you can't gamble on them. My God, that Pandora's box has been open, and here we are. And so go ahead, bet. Sit on your phone and bet all you want, but...
That's right. Power Trip Bets.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Power Trip Bets. Nice going.
Way to go.
Speaking of Ricky Henderson, did you know he had 1,400 stolen bases?
You want to hear the craziest 30 for 30 of all time?
79 to 03.
That made him my favorite player, was listening to that 30 for 30, because he loves baseball maybe more than anyone in history.
He couldn't quit.
He literally couldn't quit. He was playing the equivalent of town ball.
Yeah, real quick, if you don't mind, there's one called The Spy Who Signed Me. It's from 2009. Have you listened to that one? About
so
Diane
good.
Taurasi and Sue Bird.
So good.
It's the most amazing 30 for 30. I can't believe this guy literally.
Oh, yeah, from their plane or
from
overseas.
playing in Russia.
Yeah, Russia.
Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable this isn't a documentary.
It's 47 minutes, and it blows my mind.
Yeah, I have
It's called
listened
The
to that.
Spy Who Signed Me. Really good. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rosen.
Yeah.
We'll see you in London. Thanks, Martin.
I will. Thank you.
You'll be here on
See you
Friday
on
to help
Friday.
out
It's
the
my
lovely and
birthday,
talented.
so I'll bring treats.
Happy birthday.
But you won't be here.
I won't be here, but I'll
Happy
be
birthday.
celebrating your birthday in London time. Thank you all for tuning in. But tomorrow's Wednesday. We'll figure out what we're going to do then. I don't know.
Bye.
Take care of each other. Love you. Bye.
Everybody have a wonderful day.
You too, Abba Dabba. Love you.